September 1944, German-occupied Holland. Inside the ornate dining room of Chateau Wolfhase, senior Wehrmacht officers raise crystal glasses to toast the impossibility of Allied paratroopers. Intelligence reports speak of American sky soldiers dropping without armor, without artillery, carrying only canvas satchels and toy cricket clickers. General Oberst's student slaps the table. Infantry floating on silk, they will break like glass under a tank tread. Laughter ricochets off mahogany panels. Maps show the vital bridges at San, Wegel, Nijmegen, each marked in confident crimson. The consensus is unanimous. Paratroopers may descend from clouds, but they cannot hold ground against steel. Orders are drafted to rush Panzer Brigade 107 southward, crush the lightly armed Americans in one sweeping blow, and reopen the corridor to the Rhine. Confidence is so absolute that staff officers leave bridge demolition charges in storage. Why waste precious explosives on men who will be prisoners within hours? Outside, sentries snap heels beneath swastika banners, unaware that 15 kilometers away, 10,000 scattered glass paratroopers are already tightening straps, blackening faces, checking M1 carbines with the quiet patience of men who have jumped into Sicily and Normandy and lived to tell the tale. The general's laughter drifts across manicured lawns, carried on the same evening breeze that will soon bear the distant drone of 180 C-47 Dakotas, an approaching storm the Germans refuse to hear. Tonight, the toast is wine. Tomorrow, it will be blood, and the red circles on the map will become red wrecks on the road. The illusion of invincibility is complete, and the first act of the greatest airborne gamble in history is about to begin. Sunday, 17 September 1944, 9:30. 1,000 silver Dakotas thunder across a pearl-gray sky, engines droning like distant organs. Inside each tube, 18 paratroopers of the 82nd All-American and 101st Screaming Eagles shuffle toward the door, 70 pounds of gears strapped to every sinew. Static lines snake along the ceiling like silver vines. No tanks, no jeeps, just folding bazookas, gammon grenades, and a folding shovel each man trusts more than artillery. They have been told, hold the bridges for 48 hours until XXX Corps arrives. 48 hours without armor, without resupply, against an enemy who owns the ground beneath their boots. The jump light flicks green. Boots drum on corrugated metal. Silk blossoms like sudden snow above Holland. Below, Dutch civilians drop bicycles, eyes sky-wide, waving orange flags the Germans have not yet forbidden. Each paratrooper lands rolling, cuts away harness, gathers like magnets toward pre-rehearsed assembly areas. Within 90 minutes, every company is moving. No tanks, no trucks, just boots on cobblestones, and hearts louder than boots. They advance in open skirmish lines, rifles at high port, whistling glory, glory, hallelujah, a walking dare to any panzer that dares to move. The generals in the chateau hear the distant thunder, dismiss it as another supply drop, until reports crackle in. Fallschirmjäger, no, Americans on every road. The laughter stops, the map is shoved aside, the hunt for scattered glass soldiers begins. Soldiers who are already polishing the edges into knives. Drop Zone B, near San, 0947. Machine gun fire rips the morning mist. Orange tracer stitches the grass at ankle height. PVT Johnny Martin hits the ground hard, helmet spinning, M1 clenched. No armor to screen him, no 88 to answer back, just guts and a 2.36-inch tube he must assemble while lying in a drainage ditch. Beside him, Lieutenant Martin clicks a cricket once. 2 clicks answer from the left. The platoon coalesces like iron filings to a magnet. They advance in short rushes, 3 seconds, 5 yards, hugging the earth, hearts hammering louder than the Spandau ahead. A Panzer Mk3 erupts from tree line, 50mm guns swiveling. No time for fear, only geometry. The bazooka snaps open, rockets slammed in, 2 men kneeling, 1 breathing, 1 squeezing. The rocket spits white flame, strikes the tank's sprocket, steel screams, tread whips loose, the monster lurches to a halt. Paratroopers surge forward, rifles crack, grenades arc, the crew bails into a ditch already occupied by angry Americans. In 12 minutes the road is clear, the bridge at Son is still standing, engineers sprint forward with pre-cut planking. Somewhere a German radio man screams, "Paratroopers with anti-tank guns! They're not supposed to have those!" The reply is static and disbelief. The scattered glass soldiers have become a cutting edge, and the first crack in German certainty widens with every boot print toward the bridge. Bridge at Son, 10:15. Explosives detonated by retreating Germans have twisted the steel truss into a crooked smile. The canal is 40 feet wide, water black under smoke. Engineers of the 101st drop their rifles, sling tool bags, wade waist deep. No cranes, no armor, only muscle and planks preloaded in glider baskets. Bullets hiss into the canal, some chew splinters from fresh pine. A corporal hammers nails while holding breath underwater. A lieutenant counts planks like rosary beads. On the far bank, a machine gun nest spits fire. 3 paratroopers charge it with only grenades and war cries, boots slapping mud. The nest falls silent. Hammers resume. Every blow is a heartbeat, every nail a promise. We hold until tanks arrive. By 11, a footbridge stands. Crooked, swaying, but passable. The first jeep rolls across at walking pace, driver steering with one hand, cradling a carbine with the other. Behind it, columns of paratroopers file over the gap, rifles at the high port, helmets bobbing like a black tide. German spotters phone higher commands. Bridge restored, no tanks yet, but infantry streaming. The reply is disbelief. Impossible. Paratroopers cannot build bridges under fire. Yet the impossible is now 40 feet of blood-soaked timber, and every board carries the boot print of a soldier who brought no armor but refusal to quit. The mirage of German invincibility cracks a little wider with every creaking plank. Highway 69, Wegel, 1400. The road is a ribbon of cobblestones on a dike, fields below sea level on both sides. No tanks, no half-tracks, just boots and rifles advancing like a black centipede. Church bells ring in the tower ahead, not in celebration but in warning. A spandau opens from a farmhouse, bullets spark off stone. The column splits without orders, left file fires, right file runs, leapfrog perfected in Sicily and Normandy. A private throws a smoke grenade that lands in a cow trough. White fog drifts across the dike, masking movement, turning the medieval village into a chessboard where every pawn carries a bayonet. By 1530, the spire is behind them, the town square cleared, house by house, cellar by cellar. A German officer is captured, still holding a map marked "Bridge intact, hold at all costs." He stares at the paratroopers with disbelief. "You have no tanks, no artillery. How did you advance?" The answer is a rifle barrel and a grin. We walked. The column reforms, whistles blow, boots resume their drum on stone. Somewhere a radio crackles. Wegel lost, paratroopers moving toward Nijmegen. The generals in the chateau stare at the map, the red circles becoming red question marks. The soldiers without tanks have seized a highway, and the highway is now a spear aimed at the Rhine. Nijmegen, 20 September, 1600. The wall is 400 yards wide, current fast, far bank swept by machine gun fire. The bridge still stands, but the far end is held by SS troops. The 82nd's plan is insane. Cross in flimsy canvas assault boats, no armor, no smoke-laying tanks, only courage and a northwest breeze. Boats are inflated under fire, each weighs 40 pounds and carries 8 men. The The first wave pushes off, paddles dipping in unison, bullets stitching the water like hail. Men fall, boats spin, but the current carries them forward. There is no reverse gear in a canvas coffin. On the south bank, mortars drop smoke. The wind drags it across the river like a gray curtain, but curtains have holes, and tracers find them. Mid-river, a private stands in the boat, fires his BAR from the hip, brass casings tinkling into the water. He becomes the turret they do not have. The far bank grows from a line to a wall, muzzle flashes winking. A boat capsizes, men surface, rifles held high, still advancing. When the first boots hit the northern mud, the assault turns into a sprint. No beach, just dike and death. By 1700, a foothold is carved, the bridge approaches are cleared, the impossible river is crossed. German radiomen scream, paratroopers on the north bank without tanks. The scream is answered by rifle fire and the soft thud of boots on Dutch clay. The soldiers who came without armor have armored themselves with resolve, and the Rhine is suddenly one bridge closer. Arnhem Road Bridge, nightfall, 20 September. The northern ramp is a junkyard of steel and fire. A half-track lies on its side, tires blazing, ammunition cooking off in orange arcs. Paratroopers of the 1st Airborne sprint past, silhouettes against flame, Enfields at hip fire, bayonets fixed. No tanks support them, just the echo of their own boots and the knowledge that the bridge must fall or they must die on it. A PIAT team kneels behind a wrecked tram, fires the spigot mortar. Thump, whoosh, clang. An armored car slews sideways, treads whooping loose. The crew bails, hands high, into rifles already waiting. The Germans had expected scattered sky soldiers, easy pickings. What they meet is a line of men who treat every cobblestone as a fortress. By 2200 hours, the ramp is British, the bridge deck littered with spent brass and broken binoculars. A captured German major stares at the paratroopers, bewildered. You have no tanks, no artillery. How do you hold? The answer is a sergeant lighting a cigarette with shaking hands. We hold with fingers, then with teeth. The bridge groans under the weight of burning vehicles, but it holds. 48 hours after the first parachute opened. The generals in the chateau receive the message, bridge at Arnhem, lost. The laughter is replaced by silence, then by the soft thud of staff maps being folded in defeat. The soldiers without tanks have seized the gateway to Germany, and the gateway will not close. D+3, Arnhem, morning mist and gun smoke. The bridge is held, but the corridor is a thread. Men who jumped with 90 pounds now weigh 60. Bandages, empty pouches, hollow eyes. No tanks arrived, no supply drop reached them. They live on captured German biscuits and canal water. A corporal cuts a boot sole to patch a mate's shoulder wound. Another sharpens a bayonet on a curbstone because ammunition is down to the last magazine. The perimeter is 200 yards of rubble, every window a firing point, every doorway a potential morgue. They have held for 72 hours, 3 times the original estimate, because every hour is paid in blood, and they refuse the refund. A captured German lieutenant is brought in, stunned. We were told you would surrender after 24 hours. Without artillery, you cannot fight. The reply is a private who lifts his helmet to show a bullet groove across the scalp. We fight with this. The lieutenant stares at the bridge still flying the Union Jack, at paratroopers who stand though their knees tremble, and understands the miscalculation is complete. The soldiers who came without tanks have armored themselves with stubbornness, and stubbornness does not buckle under shell fire. The general's laughter has turned to a whisper. They are still there. The whisper will echo through staff colleges for decades, proof that the greatest armor is refusal to yield. D+4, Oosterbeek perimeter. Radio hut is a cellar with a collapsed roof. The operator cranks the hand generator, voice hoarse. Hello Army, hello XXX Corps. Bridge held, need armor, need guns, need God. Static answers, then a faint reply. Hold on. Coming. The message is repeated every hour, every half hour, every time the generator can be coaxed. Outside, shells bracket the house, plaster drifts like snow onto the map table. Officers trace the shrinking perimeter with trembling fingers, converting inches into lives. No tanks, no artillery, but the radio is a lifeline cast into the void, a prayer sent on Morse code. The reply never changes. Hold, coming. Hold with what? With bayonets? With bare hands? With voices that shout names into the dark to prove they still live? The radio becomes a weapon. It's static, a battle cry that reaches Division HQ, reaches Montgomery, reaches history. Every click of the key is proof that the bridge is British, that paratroopers without tanks are still paratroopers, that the general's laughter was answered by a voice that refuses to be silent. When the set finally falls silent, the last word is not surrender, it is coming. And that word is enough to keep fingers on triggers and eyes on the horizon. The soldiers without armor have armored themselves with hope, and hope does not run dry. D+5, 20 September. Sunrise over the lower Rhine. The last platoon steps onto the bridge they were told to hold for 2 days and have held for 5. Boots echo on steel grating, rifles slung, helmets lowered, backs straight. No tanks lead them, no bands play. Only the soft thud of discipline and the creak of a flag that still flies. Behind them, the bridge is a skeleton of steel and bullet scars, but it stands. 48 hours became 96, and 96 became legend. German shells fall short, the echo fades, the horizon opens. The soldiers who jumped without armor walk into Germany carrying only rifles and a reputation the enemy will never forget. At the far ramp, they pause. Look back at the river they crossed with nothing but nerve, and understand the general's laughter has turned to silence. The bridge that was supposed to fall in hours has become the hinge on which the war swings. Every plank is a testament, every rivet a rebuttal to the certainty that paratroopers cannot fight without tanks. They walk eastward, boots on German soil, the flag above them snapping in the dawn wind. The mirage of German invincibility lies shattered beneath the bridge they were told they could never hold, and held. The soldiers without tanks have written a new chapter in the art of war, and the ink is their own blood, dried into the steel of the bridge that refused to fall.